Hi, I'm Chrissy Wozniak, and welcome to Planning Your 2021 Agribusiness Marketing Budget, brought to you by North American Ag. Thank you all for watching, and special thanks to our sponsor, Focus Management, your strategy execution guides for your company. You can check them out at focusmanagement.ca. I want to start by telling you about the first time years ago that I was tasked with writing out an annual marketing budget at a company that I used to work for. I was so excited to be able to plan out what we were going to do the following year to increase profit. I opened up an Excel sheet and I stared at it and stared at it some more and stared at it again. I had no idea how to actually start. The company had given me a set amount of money that I could spend. And suddenly, an overwhelming sense of responsibility and fear swept over me. How would I be able to divide this money up to make real positive impact on sales? I closed the Excel sheet and I began researching. After a few years of creating that annual budget, I actually came to look forward to it. I enjoyed seeing the measurable results of those decisions. And many years later, I have a system that I want to share with all of you in agribusiness to help to guide and direct your decisions, especially now in this crazy time that we're living in. If you have questions, go ahead and type them into the chat and I'll try to answer them all. 2021 Agribusiness Marketing Budget. Where do we go from here? So what are you going to learn today? You're going to learn how to set goals and what goals to set. You're going to learn how much money you should be spending and how to allocate the money that you plan to spend, how to refine your message, and where you should be showing up consistently, and the importance of measuring those results of all of your efforts. What you're not going to learn today, you're not going to learn what specific places that you should be advertising. You're not going to learn how to bypass planning and still succeed. And you're not going to learn that there is one way to go about your strategy. So why are we planning ahead? If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. This is my favorite quote of all time by Zig Ziglar. And there are a few quotes truer than this one. If you really can't go through any part of your life without a plan and expect to succeed, how would you gauge your success if you don't even have a goal? Your goals, they should include quick wins and long-term strategy. So the very first step is to set goals. First of all, here are some examples. So you need to set goals for your total revenue, set goals for your website traffic, for your social media followers, email subscribers, traffic to a specific product page, content creation. Now, I particularly like this one. Marketing mastermind Gary Vee recommends putting out 60 pieces of content every day. That's a lot. So I'm not asking you to start there. Start with one a day. There's approximately 252 working days per year. So just start with that. That's an excellent goal. So how much should my company be spending on marketing? Well, determine your budget. What are you currently spending? And take that as a measurement, and then use a percentage of your revenue to see if that's accurate, if that's what you should be spending. But what percentage should you use? Well, if you want to maintain your market share, use 5%. This will keep you in the game. But if you want to grow and gain market share, use 12%. So 5% to maintain or 12% to grow. The next step is to allocate that budget. Where are you going to put those dollars? So I like to rely on the 70-20-10 rule. And what that means is that 70% of that budget should be used on proven methods. 20% of the budget should be used on probable methods. So things that you know would work, but you probably haven't tried much of yet. And 10% of your budget should be towards totally new methods. So things that you have no idea if it's going to work, but you have an idea that it could. So we just do 10% right there. The next thing that you need to think about is that allocation should tie into your goals, right? Don't go off spending money on something that doesn't serve those goals that you set out in the first step. Another thing to think about, will this be carried out in-house or will you hire an agency? There's there are costs associated with each of those. So include those in the budget as well, what that cost of actually doing the work will be. And then watch out for hidden expenses as well. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen. I have a template that I've made. There we go. Okay, so this is a template for marketing budget. And this is downloadable at chrissywozniak.com. And right here, this is where you would put your company revenue. So in this example, this is a $1.25 million company. And if you want a marketing budget of 5%, this is the money that you're going to go for. That will be your marketing budget. If you want to grow at 12%, this is what the marketing budget would be. This number here is what you should be aiming towards spending. So this should get as close to this number or that number as possible. And you'll see here that this is, these are the things that you're spending money on. And if you look over here, you'll see all of these categories. So if we want to look and plan our social media, we can just go here and just see social media. And then right here, you can see that this is what we're spending in total on social media. So what you would do is step by step, go through each one of those categories and figure out where you want to spend your money. So in this example, we have Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, 12 months, and this is the spend, and this would be the cost per year. And then you can add any notes in here as well. So if I wanted to see, what am I spending on digital marketing altogether? So I could click this here so that I can select a few different options. So digital marketing, video content, email campaigns, and website. So here are all of those different categories, and this is what you'd be spending on digital marketing. I can clear that. And then I can see, okay, what am I spending on events right there? So you can go through each one, plan each one separately, try to get as close to this number as you can. Now, about the 70-20-10 rule, you need to, you can come over here to allocation, and this is the percentage of the budget spend. So this calculates automatically. And if you want to maintain at that budget, then you can spend $43,750 on proven methods. You can spend $12,500 on probable methods, and you can spend $6,250 on totally new methods you haven't tried before. And then again, if you want to grow, this is at 12% of your revenue. And these are the numbers 70, 20, and 10. So this gives you a good idea of what to aim for. So if you hadn't, if you say, okay, I'm going to maintain and I want to try some new things. Okay, I can spend, $6,250. So you go back over here and say, well, I've never really done anything with video content before. So here we go. I'm at 6,000. So that's about in line for something that you've never done before. So that's a good way to go about it. So if you go over here and plug in, say you're a $30 million company. And that changes everything, right? So now you've got a $1.5 million budget or a $3.6 million budget. Now, if you are a $300,000 a year company, then of course it changes again. So if you want to maintain, you spend $15,000. If you want to grow, you spend $36,000. And again, you can go back over to the allocation, and this gives you an idea of how you should allocate that money. All right, so let's go back to the presentation. What should I promote in my marketing? You need to work on your messaging. Your messaging needs to have a clear, consistent message that you communicate over time. So define your brand. That's really important. Why does my company exist? Does it exist just to weld steel together? Or does it harvest grain with precision, feeding the world and increasing profit for the farmer? Remember that it's not about you. It's about your company's impact on the world. That's a really important thing to always think about, that, we're busy trying to make sales and, increase profit, but what kind of impact are we having on the world? And those are the marketable things. I see a question from Fred. Does the percentage change with the size of the company, the 5 versus 12? Nope, that goes no matter the size of the company. So after you define your brand, you also need to define your target audience. It's important to know exactly who your audience is and build that out. What does your customer love about your product? And what's funny is a lot of marketing departments really have no idea what the customer loves. So you definitely need to ask. That should be part of your marketing plan, is to be able to ask these questions. For some, it might be the placement of a cup holder in the tractor cab, right? That could be something your customer really loves, or a certain kind of bearings in the wheels. And those are the things you need to know, and you should be doing that research. And on the other hand, you also need to know what they hate about your product. Is it something that you can change? And it's definitely something you shouldn't be marketing, right? But it's all things that you absolutely need to know. And how can you become a trusted advisor in your field? Right? I'll say it again. How can you become a trusted advisor in your field? Stop selling. I know that sounds crazy, but you have to stop selling. Nobody wants to be sold to. Start educating. You need to educate your clients, and you need to have a commitment to educating them. So where should we be? Placement is the next step. We need to be in social media. Absolutely. There's no denying that, and don't underestimate the power of social media. And I don't just mean ads, I mean organically. Your customer needs to get to know who you are, and this is a great way to be in front of them, because everybody scrolls through their feeds pretty much every day. You need to have video content. This is just as important as being on social media. And actually, we did a study a few months ago on Twitter Ag, or Ag Twitter, and we did some research and asked some questions. And what we came up with is that producers are seeing new products on social media, then they're going to YouTube and researching them. And you know what? I do the same thing. I think that's a trend that's not going to end. So you need to have bits of information on social media, and then you have to, for sure, have video content these days. Your website content, it has to be fresh. It has to be updated. It has to be clear and concise, and show your message. And the thing with your website, and I see this all the time, is somebody gets a new website and they just launch and wait for all the people to come visit their site. Well, that doesn't happen. I like to describe it as ordering your business cards. You make this beautiful business card. It comes in that nice little box, and then you grab that box and you put it in your desk drawer and close the desk drawer and never open it again. What's going to happen to those cards? Nothing's going to happen, right? You're not going to get business with those cards. So instead, you pull open the drawer, you open the box, put some in your pocket, and then you go hand them out, right? So that's a really, really big thing to think about. You have to drive content, or drive people to the content in your website. If you just leave it alone, nothing's going to happen. Email drip campaigns. Email drip campaigns are a very good tool for educating your customers and becoming that trusted advisor. So if somebody's interested in something on your website and they ask for more information, then you can send out a drip campaign that slowly over time feeds them little bits of information and educates them. And that's, I'm sure everybody gets lots of emails every day. And just like anything, if it's, what goes in comes out. If it's garbage in, garbage out. So you have to add value for the customer, or else you'll just get unsubscribes. So you have to put a lot of thought and effort into those drip campaigns. And when you do, the results are really great. Online ads, of course, that's a great way to drive traffic. And we all see those all the time. Retargeting is another one. What that means is when you go and search something on Google, and then you go to Facebook the next day and see that product, that's called retargeting. So what happened is when you went to go look at the product, they put a cookie on your computer, and now wherever you go, it looks like they're following you. So you could all do that too. That is not out of reach, and that's you can do that through your Google Analytics. Print ads. Print ads, especially in agriculture, are not dead. There's lots of people that still read Hordes and Progressive Farmer. So, don't think that just because we're in the digital age that you can't do print ads anymore. You just have to, like anything, you have to measure the results. SEO. So search engines have ways of placing you up or down when people search for you. You want to be above your competitors, of course. So there are a lot of ways that you can do that. And it can be very complex, and you can hire an agency to do it, or you can get a website audit and make sure that everything's set up right. There are a lot of different ways to do that, but it's definitely something you need to be thinking about. In-person events. So I'm sure everybody has experienced this year, the lack of in-person events. So for the 2021 budget, that's going to be difficult to predict because we don't know when we're going to have these events. So, for the people that I'm talking to recently, it seems like they're either just writing off farm shows and trade shows for all of 2021 just to do their budget, or they're putting some money in reserve. So that's up to you as a company, and it depends on what you've done in the past and kind of what you rely on. But I personally can't wait. I'm a people person, and I miss our industry and the people I'm used to seeing all the time. So I can't wait to get back to normal. Sponsorships are another great way for your company to get exposure. The old rule used to be that your company needs to be seen 7 times before a potential customer would remember it. Now, in the digital age, when we're bombarded constantly, that number can be estimated to be closer to 50 times. So that calls for diversity in your marketing. And every time you can get your logo seen, you try to get it out there. Print material. Again, with less in-person events, this part of your marketing budget might go down. If you have a store location where people are walking in, then maybe it'll remain the same. But likely this area probably went down a little bit this year, or will for next year. And then another place that I see overlooked all the time is dealer or distributor care. Now, if you are a manufacturer or a seed company, or you have distributors all over, and those distributors, they operate based on what sales can they make that are easy, that they have support, and they have the right tools to sell them. So you need to really think about your sales from a dealer perspective as well. Make sure that they know that they're cared about. Make sure that they have the tools that they need so that they can sell your product. Keep that as part of your marketing budget, and be creative, and really show them that you do care. So, there's a lot here as for placement and where you can be. I know that this is actually why North American Ag was created. We found a way to provide agribusiness, a way to be found in almost all of these areas at a really affordable price, so we can try to fit any marketing budget. I know for a lot of people, probably watching, that you'd have to hire an entire marketing team to get a lot of this done. That's why we try to give as many options as we can as well, to try to help everyone out through this. So how do I know what worked? You need to measure the results. And I cannot stress this enough. Don't just set out a budget and let it free. There are a lot of software options. They are vast. But there is an option that can fit your budget. So from HubSpot to SharpSpring to Google Analytics to a basic Excel spreadsheet, it's all about fitting the software to the size and the complexity of your company. You need to be able to keep track of those goals at the beginning. And like I said, you can add it, download that template, and then add a couple pages that are just goals. And then, once a quarter, just go and see how you're doing with all of those goals. You have to measure, or else you don't know what to adjust. Web traffic, tracking, and cookies, they're all things in this age that you need to fully understand. It's imperative that you learn how to use these tools to your advantage. If you have questions about these, you can always book a call with me, and I can help you and help you understand what you can do. You can go to chrissywozniak.com to find me. The power of that cookie is just insane. You can have automations triggered just by people showing up on your site and based on their behavior. So that's really important to understand, that you have a lot of tools that you can't really see, and but they're out there, and you need to monitor the spend regularly. Just because somebody said, yes, this is what we're charging you, doesn't always mean that there won't be mistakes, and you need to be able to catch that. You have to do monthly and quarterly checkups. So don't set it and forget it. You need, say if you started a campaign in January, by March, if it's not working, you can make a decision and either move that money somewhere else or keep it for the long haul, depending on whether it's a long-term or short-term goal. And don't wait till December, right, to decide whether you should, whether you should keep it or not. You want to stay fluid. You need these checkups. And then of those going to your website, how many of those are contacting you? And of those, how many are actually making a purchase? So those are kind of those three numbers that you should always be keeping track of. That total website visitors, how many are filling out the contact form, and how many are making a purchase. Those are not hard. That's not hard data to keep track of. You can do that on a piece of paper or on a just a simple spreadsheet as well. And then always ask the customer where they found you. Always, always, always ask the customer where they found you. This data is integral to knowing what campaigns worked and what ones didn't. You don't need to be reinvesting in a marketing effort that did not provide results. That doesn't make any sense, and nobody should be doing that. So that's all what you need to know to get started on your marketing budget. So let's recap. You need to set goals. So that's the first step. Again, set your goals, write them down. You need to write them down. Determine your budget. So a percentage of your revenue. If you're just starting out, then you're going to have to, pick a low number and then just build from there. Once you have revenue under your belt, start allocating that money. The allocation of that budget, remember it's 70, 20, 10. 70% goes to proven methods that make you sales. 20% goes to probable things that maybe you haven't tried before or you only kind of dabbled in. 10% goes to brand new efforts, things that you've never tried before. Messaging, you have to have a clear, consistent message that is communicated over time. And, the clearer, the better. And you have to keep sending out that message over and over again. Placement, make sure you think carefully about where you're placing your marketing and who it's going out to as well. And really, really try to figure out where your customers are and then be there. That's where you show up. And then measure the results. So that's really important. And then that's it. Are there any questions at all right now? If anybody needs help with any of these things going forward, like I said over and over again, just go to chrissywozniak.com. You can fill out the contact form and I can get a hold of you. Here's a question. Based on your experience, what is the number one blockage to marketing budgeting? I would say that the number one blockage would be just not knowing where to start, for sure, and not knowing where to put the dollars. With everything you do in business, you need to have a system, and you need to test the system, and you need to try the system, and then just see what works and pivot. See what works and pivot. But you got to start with the system, and you absolutely need a goal and a plan. And I know we all put out fires every day, so it's really hard to plan, but you've just got to make time to do that. And Shane asks, will the presentation be available after? Yes, you will. You'll get an email with it, and we'll also post it on YouTube after. And Morgan asked, how do we tell if the lack of success is in the marketing or the product? Well, that's a great question. So you need to really test a bunch of different ways and be consistent in that message. What I've seen before is somebody will put $500 into Facebook campaign once. Well, that's not going to tell you really anything. You have to have it consistent over time, and you have to be trying a lot a lot of different ways of marketing. You can't just stick to one thing. So I think, so if you have a broad, diverse budget and you're not seeing any results, maybe tweak the product, right? And especially right now, with the way the world is changing, maybe like this year, if you're not seeing results, it might not be the product, it might not be the marketing, it just might be that people I've seen have been frozen and they don't want to make decisions. So that's why time is really important too. And thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you'd like a copy of the budget template, go to chrissywozniak.com and go to the resources page. You'll have to log in, but after you do that, you'll have access to download it, and you'll also see some of our other resources as well, like focus management is there as well. And if you have any questions or if your company needs help with anything, we do have packages designed to guide you through the process, and you can go to the website to do that. So thanks and have a great day.